What's happening, guys? Welcome. There's Vet, Lamos, Ron, Real Thing. Hey, guys. I didn't think anyone would show up at a different time slot here. Yep, I'm not scoping tonight because I have a CBS interview. So tonight I'm going to be on CBS tonight. WBZ Radio. WBZ 1030 on the AM dial, broadcast to 38 states. Your audio messed up. What's up with the audio? Uh, what's up with the audio? I'm using a microphone, external mic. Tell us. Yes, I wanted to do this. Let me just set this aside here. I wanted to do this to separate it from last night's scope, so I have a specific discussion about encryption comparisons between all these apps, so you understand. And I just want to make sure that this is on record, and I'm gonna keep it separate. It's on you can find it on if you download like iHeartRadio or Google CBS WBZ. I can turn it down a little bit. I can turn on the sound. Shall I share the scope or the next one? Yeah, you should share this scope. Yes. Yeah, you can. I'm not going to be that. So it's WhatsApp safe. That's what I'm trying to explain to all of you, so you understand, because there's a lot of disinformation out there. Disinformation on a lot of these apps. Are you on producer? Yes. Richard, I don't have WIKR. So I'm going to be on CBS Radio. If you go to my Twitter page, there's a podcast there. Rob Music Zero. There's a podcast from prior interviews. They will likely post a interview tomorrow live of the a podcast tomorrow. But if you want to go live, then you have to download iHeartRadio or one of those and look for WBZ Radio, and I'll be on there tonight at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or midnight on the East Coast. So I'll be there tonight in a few hours. In 7 hours? No, sorry. In 5 hours? No, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 hours. Okay, what do you mean no audio? What's your Twitter handle? Rob Music Zero. Wow, you missed some rants. You have to email to Periscope TV. No, you don't have to. You can. Anyone is capable of doing Periscope Producer. Have you heard of Google Duo? They say it's an encrypted video chat app. So let me get right down to the point. That's 10:30 on the AM dial. 10:30. It's not available on the West Coast. On the West Coast, you'll need to get on the live streaming on iHeartRadio or something like that. And on the West Coast, on the East Coast, you can hear it on 10:30 on the 10:30 on the AM dial. Okay, Richard. Okay, so let me just tell you something. A lot of people say, I believe it can reach Florida, but maybe it's starting to get weak. So you just get to download the radio.com app or iHeartRadio or one of those, and you'll get access to it. A lot of people have encrypted apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, Wickr, Signal, and some of these apps have some other features that go beyond just mere encryption. For example, Signal has the capability for having a phone service. Telegram has some social type features in there. Wickr is more like a spy, everything disappears until if you don't put your finger on it kind of app. And WhatsApp is of course attached to Facebook. WhatsApp is owned by Zuck. So I need you to understand what all of these apps have and compare it. And of course, I'm also going to compare it to Brax.me, which is another encrypted app that I built. So Brax.me is the one that you see on the right hand side there. That is my encrypted app. So uh, so I want you to there's more apps that are encrypted, but pretty much they all follow the same principles, and I want you to understand what's in them, what their advantages are, and what the flaws are. Zcam is good for cold. What other apps are good like yours? Uh, all of these apps have some good things in them. All of these apps have some good things in them, and they have bad things. So you have to understand the difference between them. So let me repeat again, just for tonight, we're going to compare Signal, Wickr, WhatsApp, Telegram, and that's it, right? Signal, Wickr, WhatsApp, Telegram. So we'll just compare those four. Am I too loud? Do I need to turn it down? Great, I'll be there. There you go. So we're gonna focus on this and Brax.me, obviously. We're gonna compare it to Brax.me because Brax.me is a very different kind of encryption from these apps, and it was actually on purpose that I built it. Brax.me was actually built right about the same time that Signal and Wickr were being built. So it was it's in the same time frame, and so I was dealing with the same kind of issues they were, and I took a completely different approach. And I just want you to understand the differences, because the differences show you what's good and what's bad with each one. Perfect friendly. So let me let me start off with the Signal. Signal is quite popular because, for one, Snowden says use Signal. Snowden apparently uses Signal, and what happened is because Snowden uses Signal, WhatsApp decided to use the Signal protocol or the open source portion of it, and they put it into WhatsApp. So in essence, the Signal protocol for encryption is in WhatsApp, as it relates to something called end-to-end encryption. You guys heard of end-to-end encryption before? I need to explain that to you so you understand what that means. Yeah, what's Zuck? Do you understand what end-to-end encryption is? End-to-end encryption is a communications where from point to point there is no point in there where somebody can decrypt the message. So somebody in the middle can't decrypt it. That's what end-to-end encryption means. So somebody can't say, okay, it went to the middle and therefore I capture the data and then I can see what's going on. Meaning, for example, in the case of Signal, it means no one that works for Signal can go in and intercept your data. And they're saying the same about WhatsApp. So when somebody sends end-to-end encryption, that's what they mean. No one in the middle can intercept your data. Now, no diversion point. Now, one of the interesting things about Signal is which is made by Wickr Systems. Wickr Systems is right here in Santa Monica, and I was actually dealing with them in the medical field, and Wickr Systems also made Wickr and Whisper, the app Whisper as well. So the app Whisper and the app Wickr, so they're all kind of connected, and they use the same protocol as Signal. So when you say Signal, you're actually talking about a collection of apps that use a very similar protocol, and that protocol is in Signal, WhatsApp, Wickr, and Wickr. Pi Hat, you've been waiting for this kind of scope. Good. Now the other one that I'm going to mention, which is kind of separate, is Telegram. Now Telegram is also similar in the sense that it offers the same features as Signal in terms of the encryption of the messages. It also takes audio, and although it doesn't really allow you to have a phone conversation, Telegram was built by the Russian guy that built that Facebook copy app. The Facebook app V, or what is it? V? It's in. He's the same guy that made Telegram. So some people are a little bit concerned about Telegram because they said, "Oh, wow, Telegram VK, there it is," because it's made by this Russian guy. But he's the same one that made Telegram. Now, let me just tell you something interesting about these encrypted apps. Strangely enough, most of the users of these encrypted apps are not in the zucking US. I don't know if you know that. Most of the users of WhatsApp are in India. Most of the users of WhatsApp are in India. So they say there's millions of users, and you'll find out that it's mostly in India. I don't know why that is. I think maybe it's because that's where it got started, getting promoted, and you know how it is. It gets followed around, and it goes from place to place. But in India, WhatsApp is very popular. Telegram, which I told you was made by the Russian guy, is actually South America as well. Yes, but it actually started out being heavy, heavy, heavy. The majority of users are in India. Yeah, ISIS does use Telegram. So the other one that is interesting is Telegram. Telegram is actually used a lot in the Middle East, particularly in Iran. So since it comes from Russia, I guess they're not too uncomfortable with that. So Iran is the biggest user of Telegram. Now there's probably crossover now, but I'm just trying to tell you, when you see that they say, oh, there's gazillion users of Telegram, a gazillion users of WhatsApp. Don't assume that those users are in the U.S. So it's not, for whatever reason here in the U.S. encrypted apps aren't used very much because people, I guess, are too trusting. And I guess you have to follow my scopes to understand why you shouldn't do that. If you follow my scopes, you should realize that you really can't be too trusting. So I have my own app, and this is called Brax.me, and let me flip it to screen here, and maybe we'll leave it up, and then people will likely post something in here in this chat. So there's a lot of people posting in here as I'm broadcasting. Okay, so so now let me tell you the pluses and the minuses. This is really important to understand the pluses and the minuses of these apps, because it's very important to understand, what makes them different and how Brax.me is very, very different from them. So I'm gonna kind of flip screen here and show you by the way, this is what you're seeing on the right side there is from my app. That is let me see, that's, I believe, let me just look at this here. I believe I'm showing you let me just pick a screen here. Let me show you, these are chat messages. There you go. These are chat messages on Brax. That's the chat messages on Brax. You can see it's pretty encrypted. Yeah, you can screenshot that. That's okay. It's not like you can decrypt it. Can you decrypt that? I couldn't. So yeah, I don't have a problem. This is live. I can refresh it anytime you want. If you want to see what your messages look like right now, I can refresh it. It will show me the last few, the more recent, the last couple hundred recent messages. And then Murph, did you stop using Mac after finding about that extra account? Yeah, I'm broadcasting. I'm using this Mac to broadcast, though. I am on a Mac to broadcast, but I'm not using the Mac for every day. I'm using an HP. So now I'm gonna give you a little presentation to show you the feature. I'm gonna show you a little presentation to show you the features related to encryption. I'm gonna introduce you to a term that you've never heard before. Well, some of you have heard it, but maybe don't understand it. The term I'm gonna introduce to you is asymmetric key exchange. Asymmetric key exchange. There's two ways to encrypt something with end-to-end encryption, and we're specifically talking here about wait, before I get into that, let me backtrack a little bit. Two kind of issues. when you're using an app, you have the option of using WhatsApp. In fact, all of them. You have the option of using these apps with end-to-end encryption or without. So when you're using WhatsApp, end-to-end encryption is an option. When you're using Signal, end-to-end encryption is an option. When you're using uh, Telegram, end-to-end encryption is an option. It's always an option. Understand that. It's an option. It's not always available. And and that's actually a very important point, because when you think you have end-to-end encryption, you actually don't. You just have standard encryption, which is not necessarily bad, but just so you understand what that means. End-to-end encryption means there is no zucking way for anyone to intercept what goes on in the middle. No zucking way. That is the definition of end-to-end encryption. From each end, there is no way for one party to intercept. Yeah, Confide is another one that I don't know anything about it yet, but it's end of the world. Monica, yes, it's the end of the world. Now, the reason I bring up the difference between end-to-end encryption and not end-to-end encryption is that some of these apps say we're very, very secure. We're very, very secure in that we do end-to-end encryption, but actually what they're telling you is that it's not always available to you. So then you're under the perception that I got to use this app. This is really the best app ever. And then they come back and say, well, it really is not an accurate statement. So I'm going to come back to that. Just understand that there's two kinds of encryption in any kind of app. Yes, of course, it's live. There's two kinds of encryption in every kind of app, and one is end-to-end encryption, and one is not end-to-end. Okay, just remember that. We'll come back to that later. Now, in order to have end-to-end encryption, there's a couple ways that this is done, and I'm going to show you an example of this by having a little presentation here. And I'm going to talk to you about something called an asymmetric key exchange. Asymmetric key exchange. Parent Tom, are you an expert at this? Parent Tom, are you an expert at this? Do you consider yourself an expert? Is Parent Tom still here? Expert, no. Okay, this is really good because this is how we explain it to everyone. Seasoned, yes. But this is really good to understand. If you understand the wording, then you explain it to everyone. It's really very powerful. It's really very powerful to hold on. Hold that question, GMV1. Hold that question. Hold on. When you have let's pick an app called Signal, because that's seems to be the most commonly used protocol for what is called an asymmetric key exchange, and this is how it works. So you have two phones with Signal, and what happens? Signal uses asymmetric keys, which means there's a private and public key. Private and public key. You've heard of this talk about private and public keys. It's very common on the internet. It's used in HTTPS. It's used in RSA, PGP. So it's a very common thing used on the internet. Okay, late to class, and it's called asymmetric key exchange. And what it does is you have a combination of private keys and public keys, and when you exchange keys using this, you simply exchange public keys. Each one holds a little private portion of that, and they don't reveal it. Because it's never revealed, and there's a mathematical reason for why you don't reveal it, which we don't have to discuss. What happens is no one actually knows what the private key is, and that keeps the exchange secure. We don't have to specifically worry about how that actually works. I did a scope that introduces that concept, but that's not important right now. But so they exchange public keys, and using their private keys, they use it to encrypt a message to the other party, which they then verify against a public key. And they said, okay, we're talking now, so let's negotiate a secret key. And let's say, for the sake of discussion, the secret key is a number Usually it's very long, like 1024 bits or something, and usually or 2048 bits. And they say, oh, okay, the key is, let's just say it's a word. Let's say it's password 123. It's a secret key that they negotiated. So what's interesting about this way of negotiating keys is that both parties do not have to know what the key is in advance. The two parties simply do an exchange, and using a mathematical formula, they arrive at a key that is known only to both of them, nobody else. That is called an asymmetric key exchange. This is built on a scheme, a mathematical scheme called the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. So you see that on number 3 on my list. It's called the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. Now, why is this advantageous when you use this kind of format? And this is, by the way, is the basis for the key exchange in HTTPS. It's the same thing they use on HTTPS. So when you connect a website on HTTPS, like your bank, it says, I'm going to use Diffie-Hellman key exchange, and you come up with a key, and that's how it encrypts the session. Diffie-Hellman is spelled right there. It's Diffie. Okay, it's number 3 on my notes there. Number 3. Now, what is the advantage of this kind of key exchange? The advantage of this key exchange is that you don't have to know what the key is in advance. There's no need to exchange a secret. The secret is basically computed, and you say, oh, our secret is this bunch of numbers, and we can just store it on our devices and use that for the session, and that's it. We don't have to know what it is. Now, what is the problem with this? And this is used by Signal, and I want to make you aware of item number 5, sorry. The biggest problem with this asymmetric key exchange used for end-to-end encryption is it only works for 2 parties. It only works for 2 parties. It does not work for a group. It does not work for many more than 2 parties. And this is because of the Diffie-Hellman key exchange is an algorithm that can only occur between 2 parties. It's the way the mathematical formula works. Did you understand that, what I just said? To do this asymmetric key exchange, you can only do it with 2 parties. You can only do it with 2 parties. Now, let me tell you what the problem with that is. That means when you have a conversation with more than 2 parties, it is impossible to have end-to-end encryption using this format. This means if you're using WhatsApp, Wickr, Signal, Telegram, they all use the same thing, which is asymmetric key exchange, you cannot have end-to-end encryption with more than 2 parties. So yes, if Snowden is talking to somebody in the US, yes, for 2 parties, he has good end-to-end encryption. Yes, that is true. But when you have more than 2 parties, you are zucked. Exactly, Jeannie. You are zucked. More than 2 parties, you're zucked. They don't tell you that. Interesting how they don't tell you that. They're always saying, oh, this is the most secure platform for conversation. And they say, what the zuck are you using? Asymmetric key exchange using Diffie-Hellman. And you say, what the zuck? That's only for 2. Yes, no online orgy. See, this is the problem when people come to me and say, oh, well, I know a lot about encryption and your app isn't zucking secure. And I say, zuck you, mother zucker. That's what I say. I say, where's my gun? Zuck, I don't have my gun in here. I left my gun in the other room. Zuck, I don't have my gun. So, Jill and Bob. Jill and Bob are 2 parties. So, if Jill and Bob are talking, that's 2. Now add Jane in there. Jill, Bob, and Jane, you can't do end-to-end encryption. So they switch over to whatever encryption method they're doing, which means, guess what happens? When you have more than 1 party, suddenly it's just the encryption offered by Signal, WhatsApp, Telegram at their server, which means somebody now can intercept at their server, meaning a backdoor is possible. Okay, Jane is unlucky. A backdoor is possible now if you can't do end-to-end encryption. A backdoor is possible. They still have encryption, but it's you know, the the ZIA or the Zucking BI or the National Zucking Agency says you have to give us a backdoor, they can. Okay, so if some stupid ISIS people are going and doing Telegram and they say we're gonna have our team talk here on Telegram with three of them talking on there, then they're zucked, and that's good. So they're zucked. More than 2 years zucked, which is why I'm no zucking fan. Zucking cloud services. Faz, that is hold on to that idea because hold on to that idea because I do it in the cloud and I have a way of doing it. Okay, now next issue. The key generation data for the secret key then is stored. Let's say there's only two of you. The key is stored on the phone, or at least the formula for computing the key is on your phone. So therefore, if you go to another device, let's say you change phones or you go to another computer, you can't have the encryption. You have to renegotiate between the two again. It's always only between two devices. Not just two people, two devices. Okay? Two people, two devices. I will do that crazy Casey cat because Braxman, of course, is in the cloud and I do it completely differently. Okay? So, these apps, and I'm going to tell you again, WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, Wickr, they're very good for two-person communications. They're just fine. If you're using if you're using these apps for two people talking, you're just fine. You're not going to get a backdoor. You're safe. Nobody can hack you. You're okay. Okay. There's a trick though. You can be hacked on Signal though if you you can be hacked on Signal if you change devices. Somebody proved that on the internet. So by changing devices, you force it to renegotiate the key, and that's kind of a problem. What if I want a backdoor? If you want, then don't turn on end-to-end encryption. Don't trust the cloud. Okay, now we're going to talk about a different kind of encryption, which I use, and this encryption is called symmetric key exchange. Symmetric key exchange. Okay, a symmetric key exchange basically says you all have a password. Anything that requires a password is called a symmetric key because symmetric means equal, which means it's all the same. By the way, all of these apps, whether you're talking about Signal, Telegram, WhatsApp, all of them use AES 256, meaning that key is then used to encrypt in AES 256. So therefore, all of us are all equal in that. You don't need to worry about that part. All of your stuff is in AES 256. At least that element of it is the same, and I will tell you the difference in a moment. Now, on Brax, which is in the cloud, by the way, the way we do it end-to-end encryption, the way we do end-to-end encryption on Brax is that you exchange a secret key, meaning a known key. So you have to have a key, otherwise then you can't use end-to-end encryption. The key has to be known in advance, so you have to somehow manage to pass the key around, the secret to everyone. And that is a disadvantage because that's a disadvantage. The disadvantage is that the parties need to know it. The parties need to know, and they have to enter the key. It's not a public key. It's a password. It's a password. That's what is known as symmetric key. It's a password. You put in the password in, and then you can get into the conversation. Now, what is the disadvantage of that? Like I said, is everyone has to know the password, or you can't have a discussion. As compared to asymmetric, where you don't need to know it, so you can talk to a stranger, exchange a key automatically, and figure it out. Okay? Now, what is the advantage of this? The advantage of a symmetric key exchange is that it works for any number of parties. You can have any encryption with two players, end-to-end encryption with 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, 100, as long as nobody releases the password. What is RSA? RSA is an asymmetric key exchange, like I just talked about a moment ago. RSA is an asymmetric key. So RSA is a negotiated key for 2 parties using a Diffie-Hellman key exchange. Let's not talk about CyberDust. That's not important right now. My app has a feature that's I had before CyberDust even existed. It's in Brax. Okay, so not important right now. But you know, he has money, so he can promote it to you. So, but it's not important. Okay, the combined. So the advantage of a using a symmetric key or a password access is that you can have it for any number of players. So you can have end-to-end encryption if you know what the key is. Now, there's the other thing that I will tell you about how we implemented in Brax. So in Brax, you can make an end-to-end key, and the end-to-end key is stored on your device, on your phone, stored in your device. It's not stored on Brax. And what happens is then it is used then to encrypt your message. It is used to encrypt your message in addition to our key, meaning it's combined. So the way Brax works, it takes the end-to-end encryption key and combines it with a very sophisticated key I will explain in a moment. And by doing that, then every message has a different key. Every single message. In contrast, the apps like Signal and WhatsApp and all this have a session key. So the password, the whatever negotiated session key is a key for the entire session. Meaning if you exchange 100 messages, they all use the same key. In Brax, that doesn't exist because every message, if you have 10 messages, you have 10 different keys. And that is now combined with the key that you have, which is on your device. And the combination of those keys make it end-to-end encrypted with something that there's no repeating of the keys. There's no key repeat. No, PKI is the other way, asymmetric. So PKI, or public key infrastructure, is the other way of doing it, called asymmetric key exchange. And that's the one that's limited to 2 parties. So that is good, but it's flawed. It's good, but it's flawed because you have to negotiate in pairs. So when you go to a website, every negotiated website, HTTPS, is a pair. You and the website, only 2 parties. Okay, Braxme doesn't have that. Braxme uses a symmetric key, so therefore, when you enter a password, it's for all parties, and you can be any number. I demonstrated yesterday how you do that. I demonstrated yesterday, so I'll demonstrate it again right now, so you get a sense. So if I'm going to start a chat here, let's show you an example here. This is really important to understand, because when somebody tells you that their app is better or this kind of encryption is better, you need to understand why it's better or not. Now, again, as I repeated, if you're going to have a discussion with 2 parties, any of those apps are fine. WhatsApp, Signal, Wickr, Telegram, they're all good for 2 persons. When it goes beyond 2 persons, they kind of fail. For example, I'll give you an example of that. One of the apps in question is Telegram. Telegram has a way of having a group discussion in there, kind of like we have on Brax. And one of the things they announced, TechRec there gave me a little thing from Telegram, and they said, we screen out ISIS comments and we delete comments from ISIS. They said, we delete the comments from ISIS. Okay, good. Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. They delete comments from ISIS. The question is, how do you know they're comments from ISIS? Nobody asked that question. How do you zucking know the comments were from ISIS? That is the problem. It's because they can actually read your messages. So which means they don't really use end-to-end encryption when it comes to more than 2 parties, because they already said they can read it. Okay? So on Brax, I can't tell you what the talk is about ISIS because I don't know what you're zucking saying. There's no way for me to interject if I don't belong to a room or to a chat party, I don't know what the Zuck anyone is doing, even if it's a group. So this is the flaw. Most of these systems say when there's a group discussion, you are Zucked. When there's a group discussion, you are Zucked. Now, why is this important? Why am I talking about this and why this is important? Some people in in social media, particularly people in alt media, feel like they're being throttled, censored, and they're being spied on and being profiled on the internet because of whatever they're talking about. And especially those on what what would be different from what we talked about in mainstream media, they would be classified as being marginal. Who does the classification? The government may do that, Google may do that, Facebook, and they actually have AI. Yes, you are being spied on here. In fact, Eggdrop is listening to all your comments right now. So you're being spied on everywhere. These comments are being recorded. They have your user ID, they have your IP address, and they know who the Zuck you are and exactly what you're doing. So they know all this. Now, so people say, well, I'm going to go on, this is a problem, so let's go to some encrypted app, and I'll bring my group there and say, I'm going to go to an encrypted app like, Telegram and whatever, and bring my group there, and we're going to talk about, our activities in that group. The problem is you go into that group and somebody can still read your message because the back door is possible and it's not really as secure of an option. So don't sell me out, Eggdrop. What? So the difference is the way I've done my own app. I made Braxme to be more of a community app, community encryption. So I'm saying to you that if you have a group and you want it to be encrypted, this could be a business, this could be personal, it could be a political group, it could be a Periscope family of political activists, and so on. You need a way to protect yourself as a group. And you need to then have software that's designed for that. And one of the software that's designed specifically for group encryption is Braxme. You can have end-to-end encrypted chat so that you can have a secure conversation with a source and maybe a couple other people. Let's say you're talking with a source and some insider saying, oh, we got information on such and such, on the Zucking BI or the Zucking IA or some whatever. So if you want to have that kind of discussion and you want to involve more than two parties, right now you're stuck because if you do that on Telegram, Signal, Wickr with more than two parties, you're Zucked. You're Zucked because they're not going to offer you end-to-end encryption. So I say, hey, you need a more secure platform, and that's what Braxme offers. And yes, you send. On Brax, you can send chat messages, and they're just like text. You don't want to send text out because text is not secure. Although Brax can send a text, that's only offered for enterprise customers. You don't really want to send text out because it's not a secret anymore. Once you broadcast it in text, it's not a secret. So this is how you do a chat. Let me do a chat with somebody, one of you. Anybody want to chat with me? Who wants to chat with? Well, I don't have your. Wait a minute. You gotta be on the public list. So I gotta pick somebody here. It's got to be somebody. Yeah, it's the. Yes, I figured it out. It's the. I believe it was the virtual machine from. VMware. There was something on VMware. Okay, now I'm going to talk to somebody that I know here. Let's just say I don't know who's here right now. Who's in this chat that who's in chat that is known to Zuck here. It's got to be somebody in the public list. Emily, you're not. Parent Tom, do you know? Are you on the public list though? Can you put yourself on the public list so I can find you? Make sure you're in the public list because I'm not going to find you otherwise because we're not contacts. There we go. Okay, so Parent Dome is on the public list. So I'm going to chat with Parent Dome. I'm going to click on Parent Dome's icon or avatar, and then I'll have I don't have Brax. Why not? Okay, so now we're going to do an end-to-end encrypted chat, and we're going to say this super secret uh, messages. That's the title of this chat message. Okay, super secret message. And I'm going to click on that thing. You see that thing that says advanced feature? We're going to click on that, and we'll offer the option to set up a secret key. And our secret key, and we can discuss this in advance, will be test. So I typed in test. That's the secret key. And this is you can do self-destruct in so many minutes and all that. We won't do self-destruct. So we're going to start chat. So that's all I have to do. Start chat. And now I have a new chat. And I will say, hello, Ryan. Okay. By the way, I'm on a browser interface here. It doesn't look like this on a mobile. This is browser. I'm on Firefox. So, not much got about. I live in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Not much got about Brax. Tiki lives in Bangladesh. He's on Brax. Tiki is from Bangladesh. He's on Brax. So what happens now is Parent Dome will come into this chat session, and I'll get a notification here. And the notification will show me, like it's a chat message, but the notification will relate to. Let me clear my existing notifications right now, so we start off blank. And I'll get a notification when Parent Dome talks to me with the password test. Okay? Parent Dome, where's your response? You're not talking to me. Parent Dome is not talking to me. What motivated me to make Brax? What motivated me to make Brax is the problem in medical. In medical, the issue in medical was people were saying, "Oh, look, I got a message from Parent Dome." Let me click on that. There we go. Censored. Got censored. So I'm going to share a photo. There. I'm going to share a photo to Ryan. That's our secret. Our secret is that photo. Like, here, let me leave a message. I say, watch out for this guy. And I'm going to post that. And there we go. So that message is end-to-end encrypted. Aside from the fact that you guys can see it on this broadcast, no one else can see that Zaki message but Ryan. And there's no way to decrypt it. So let's look at it in the database. If you don't believe me, let's look in the database and see what it actually looks like in here. This is the message. I'm going to refresh this. So we see exactly what it looks like. So let me see here. There's the message. We're going to blow it up. And there's the message right there. And it's zucking end-to-end encrypted. There's no zucking way. You're going to figure out. I'm sure we're probably those, some of these messages in here are Ryan's and mine. Okay? So that's end-to-end encrypted, and there's no zucking way. You can break into that. No zucking way. One of the things that, unless you're... no. No. One of the difficulties is the way that the decryption key for this is made up of a formula of two different pieces that makes it very, very hard to in fact, impossibly decrypt. One is the secret password of test is known only to Ryan and I and to you guys that listen to us. It is not known to anyone else. So only Ryan and I know that the key is test. But unfortunately, for somebody who even captures the key test, they don't know what the rest of the key is, because the key is actually combined with a unique key per message. So the first item there has a different key. The second item is a different key. So, which means no, the default does not have end-to-end encryption, but you can turn it on. But even without end-to-end encryption, the thing is that the key is different for every single zucking message, and that does not occur in any other app. They don't do that, and the reason they don't do the reason they don't do a different key for every message, it's very, very processor intensive. It's very slow. So that's part of the secret that I built, was to do that in a semi-quick way. How do you do that quickly? Second, the key is not in the database, so no one can intercept. You see that thing in the database right now over there. It's not in the database. So if somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to intercept," Let me put my picture up on above this. Hold on a second. Where's my? Okay, so no one can. Oops, point the wrong way. This way. Okay. I have to. It's in reverse. It's in reverse. It's difficult to figure out in reverse here. So no one can. Oops. Where am I pointing? No one can figure out these things because each one has a separate key. Each one is a separate key, and the keys are computed. They're not stored, they're computed. The way it does it is each item has a what is called a token. Every single message on Brax, every single file, every single post has a token. And the token is presented to the key server, and they said, "What is the key for this token?" So they say, "Oh, I see you have serial number, whatever it is. Oh, this is the key for you." Then it computes. The token, by the way, has nothing to do with a key. It's just a placeholder. The token is like Alex Carr. The token has no connection mathematically to the actual key. Just a placeholder. So the key then it computes. It says, "Oh, okay, this is the random number," and then computed key that pertains to this. And no one knows what that key is. It's only known at the time you present the token. The token then is sent, and it's combined with your end-to-end encryption key, and the combination of it makes it unbreakable, because we don't know what your zucking end-to-end encryption key is. So even if we knew even if there was some way to know what the computed key is without end-to-end encryption, the end-to-end encrypted key, we don't have the complete formula, so it's impossible to figure it out. I don't have any means or capability to solve that problem, mathematically or otherwise. Therefore, done deal. You're secure. Okay? So my point in explaining this to you is that sometimes when you go look at encrypted apps, you have to understand what your purpose is in doing the encrypted app. If the purpose of the encrypted app is not completely defined, what will happen is you might think you are encrypted, but you're not really. Idea for scope detecting app that have fake temporary. What? Say that again. So new private keys are no. Forget the word private keys. New keys. You don't have to use the word private. New keys are generated for every message, and it's an AES 256 CBC key. It's for AES 256. It's a large number for encrypting an AES 256. The technology is explained with something called a one-time pad, which is the most secure. In fact, it's unbreakable. A one-time pad, which is what basically what it's not exactly a one-time pad, but it's in principle it operates like a one-time pad. In principle, a one-time pad is uh, the most encrypted form, the best encryption, because it never repeats. Because it never repeats, then there's no pattern. If there's no pattern, there's no way to come up with some formula to say, well, how the Zuck do I uncover what that is? Usually you look for a pattern. In World War II, what happened with the Enigma in World War II, just so you understand what happened there, uh, they had a very good key that lasted for about a day. So they didn't do it per message. They had a key for a day. So they used the key for the entire day. And the problem was that they repeated the word Heil Hitler. Every message says, Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! So they said, oh, Zuck you've been zucked. Because you use the same words all the time. So therefore, they just looked at it and said, oh, well, there must be a pattern with the key related to Heil Hitler. And because the key was repeated, and they said, oh, there's a pattern here, they were able to uncover what the key is at the end of the day. Now, if there's no pattern, meaning the key never repeats, there's no way to even do that Enigma thing. If the Germans had a way of doing it, which is impossible at the time because there's no computers. But if there's a way to do it with computers, then yeah, Turing zucked them. Turing zucked them, yes. If you understand how encryption works, you say, wow, that Turing stuff is awesome. I mean, it's pretty awesome stuff. And it's something you study when you do encryption. Enigma and all this, it's very awesome. So, but being in the crypto field that I'm in, then I have to understand how that works as well, and the advantages and disadvantages of each one. Okay, so that's the explanation of that. Now, somebody had a question a moment ago that I didn't answer. Somebody had a question. Do you use? I use both, but mostly I use an iPhone. Usually I use an iPhone. Isn't it awesome to be able to show you a chart using Periscope Producer? Because then it's very clear. You can look at it in high resolution. Okay, cloud services. Braxman runs in the cloud. Let me explain this to you. This is very interesting. I use the cloud. In this case, I use Amazon AWS. Amazon says they have encryption. Amazon says if you store your files on our servers, we have encryption. My answer to that is, zuck you, Amazon. I don't zucking trust you. Somebody from the National Zucking Agency could walk into a computer in the Amazon system and say, I'm going to take a copy of that zucking disk and then take it home with me. Take it to the office in Utah, and then we'll go decrypt it there with all the time we have in the world to do it, and use some super powerful computers and go figure it out. Now, in Braxman, because of the way I do this, it's pretty much impossible to find a pattern. So I actually assume they will be taking the copy of the disk. I told you there are no keys on the disk. There are no keys. I just showed you what it looks like. Disk keys don't exist. So if they copy this, it doesn't exist. So in order to copy this, they're going to have to get into to my own program for doing this, and that sucker is encrypted as well and authenticated. So if they even took a copy of that, they won't be able to do anything because they don't have my key to go take that disk. So it's an encrypted drive. No, this is not a Firebug. This is a SQL a SQL viewer from Oracle called MySQL Workbench, which is what I'm using to connect to Amazon. So I'm connecting to Amazon, looking at the contents of this, and I can't even look up. There's no way to look up the key in the key server because, one, it's not available on the internet. There's no internet connectivity on the outside. Second, there's nothing to look at. There's no database. It's computed. So it has to go to a computation. Right now, a guy's in jail for contempt of court for refusing to unencrypt his computer. Well, in this case, I have no ability to decrypt it. And this is why it's kind of, there's nothing I can do about it, because if you don't have the mathematical formula for decrypting, then there's nothing you can do. If I'm asked by government to say, you have to decrypt this because it's part of the Patriot Act, and I have to say, okay, now, but I will do whatever you want. You want to copy the files? I'll do everything you want, because by law I have to do that. But I can't do it if it's not within my ability. So how do you send a picture in Brax? Well, when you go into, oops, hold on. When you go into Brax, the main menu there, there's an option called My Photos. You see My Photos? I'm going to click on that. And there's My Photos. And all you have to do is upload any number of photos. We have some public photos in here, so you can kind of use the photos we already have. So let me just expand this here. And you can say, okay, I want pictures of food, and you can have all of that. You can use any of those. If you want to upload a photo, there's an upload button on the top, on the upper left-hand corner. So can you see that on the upper left-hand corner? It's a little circle that looks like an upload. And I click on that, and it will give me the option to upload. There. Okay. Can you send me an anonymous picture? I can put it on the public album, and you can use it. Everyone can use it if it's in the public album. Okay, so for example, do I have one here? There's a picture of anonymous, and we're gonna move it to another folder. I'm gonna move it to public mystery there. And I'm going to save it. So there you go. It's now in public mystery. That's where it is. So Poland, it's available now for you, because you are poor too. Okay? So just because it's in the cloud, in general, you don't trust the cloud. You have to take extreme precautions to trust the cloud. In my case, I made extreme precautions in the cloud. Does the feature work that shows a different pic? What does that mean? So let's say I'm going to chat. I'm going to go into chat here. And I'm going to talk to Ryan. And you vomited on the screen. And I can now share any kind of photo in here and say, let's see. Let's share, that. You can share a file as well. So you can say on the bottom here, you can say share file, and I can share a file if I have one. I don't have a file in here, but you can share a PDF, a video. Just upload the video and you're done. So there's a you can upload video and share it. So maybe Parent Home can upload one to us, and then we can see it. Okay, so it's not, when you click, until you click the show real pic, the server's pic shows a vanilla one. Oh yeah, your profile. To change your profile pic, this is how you do it. To change your profile pic, where's my screen? Tap on your picture, tap on the Zuck picture in the upper left-hand corner. You see how there's Zuck there? Tap on that, and then it will allow you to browse and upload a photo. Okay? Now, when you upload a photo, the picture may not take effect until a restart. It's in public. Poland, it's in public. Go to my photos. Go into one of the public albums. It's called Public Mystery. Here, I'll show you. Follow me here. Follow me here, Poland. Okay, my photos. Blow it up. Public Mystery right there. Public mystery. Click on it. There it is. There it is, in the middle, in the top middle. Okay, then you can use it now. You can make it your profile photo. Okay, then you can upload. This, by the way, is a nice little feature. Now that I'm here, might as well show it to you. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Let me show you how I got there first. Okay, I'm here in my photos. There's that little pen thing on top. It's a third button on the top. It looks like a pen. You see that? Looks like a pen. Okay, I'm going to click on that. And then I say, what the zuck? And then I scroll down and say preview image. And it gives me a nice image version of that text. And I can say, oh, give it a background of yellow. And look at that. So you can post this on social media and they don't know what the zuck you're using. Richard, so many of us using apps without security knowledge. That's why I'm trying to introduce you, because it is kind of complicated. You take us for fools, don't you? Suck my bull. You are never on at this time. No, I have an interview with CBS tonight. So I'm going on CBS tonight. Now the reason for this is if somebody is doing if somebody is doing a word search to censor you on the Zucking internet, using an image like this prevents you from being censored because they don't know what the Zuck is in the picture. So you can actually, I have an example here. There's a demo of, a fairly long demo here. So I'm going to click on it and you can actually, say something like that. And then you have a secret message, and then you share that on Twitter or Facebook. You share that on Twitter or Facebook, and they have to click on it to see what the actual message is. And the actual message is typed out below. And this way, then you love it, liar. You love it, liar. You must work for Zuck. This guy works for Zuck. What I thought was more serious is why the bots target us easily. My goodness. Yes. Yeah, so this is very, very important to understand because people are always trying to profile you and track you. And when they start to sense that you have a political side, and or if you're kind of an easy mark for doing selfies, they target you. This is the way to announce you're gone to Braxman. What's your take on SHA-1 hack? Yeah, SHA-1 is kind of expired. You shouldn't really be using SHA-1. I don't. Google demonstrated that SHA-1 is like I don't use SHA-1. I use SHA-512. So SHA-1 is pretty old. That's way old now. Nobody should be using that. Some old websites still use SHA-1, but use SHA-2 or SHA-256 or SHA-512. It's pronounced SHA, S-H-A. But that's a these are used for hashing passwords. The people hire you to consult them on info. Yeah, I'm mostly I work in the medical field. This is valuable information. Can you check and see my profile picture changed? I don't know because I'm not. I have to do it on my own account because I am not here. I'm going to look at my own account. Hold on. Let me bring up my other thing here. Let me bring up Chrome and put it on top. Okay, and then I'm going to blow up the window so we can see it, and I'm actually going to look at my own account and see what's up. Okay, so Poland, we're going to search for you. You're probably in my contact list. So we're going to see if Poland's on here and see my chat messages on here. And where are you, Poland? Are you here? Got lots of messages from people. Where's Poland? There. There's Poland with anonymous. I see you. Oops, sorry. The screen is too big. Let me shrink it down so we can see. Sorry. There you go. Poland is anonymous. Right there. Okay. So, yeah, the funny thing is, I don't know why, but people think the app is really difficult because there's so much to do here. I mean, it's so powerful. There's so many things, so many features. But the reality is, guys, it's really not that complicated. App, it really isn't. It's just there's a lot it can do. It's pretty amazing. I mean, there are things that I don't even talk to you about that it can do. For example, some of the stuff that I can't demonstrate here is how you can put a fake picture on Facebook. And people think that they're looking at the picture, and Facebook thinks they're looking at a picture, and then it's not. This is now copied by Cyberdust. I've done that way before Cyberdust was doing that. Okay? So now when somebody says Cyberdust, it's like, Zuck, come on. I had this feature for years. Years. Okay? Years. Yeah, the problem is because of the multiple ways. This is kind of like when you go into a spreadsheet, you don't know what to do first. When you go into spreadsheet, there's so much you can do. What do I do first? Same with Brax, because if it's kind of a tool set, it does so much, you don't really know where to start. And that's why, that's why you... That's why that's the feature I was asking how to do. Which one feature are you asking about, Angel? Which one? Which specific feature are you referring to? Are you referring to the Facebook feature? Are you referring to the Facebook feature? Is that the one you're looking for? On how to post on Zuckbook? If I post that here, yeah, okay. Well, fortunately for you, Angel, there's already a demo of that. If you look at the history of my scopes, it's the very, very first one on the Zucking list from, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago. The very first video is about that, how do you post something on Facebook. Okay? It's the very, very first one. So go to my list of videos all the way to the back. It's the very, very first one. And you will find how to do it on Zuckbook. Okay? Now, obviously, this scope was not intended to draw a lot of people in here. It's kind of specific. But what I intended here is for this scope to be kept in the archives so that when people ask me this question, they can go back to this scope and study it and be able to refer to it. So this is not intended to... I deleted everything from Zuckbook a long time ago. So it's not intended to be a VIP scope. It's just made to be stored. And I don't really care, about how many viewers watch it. So it's more of a reference, and I can share it on the Zucking Internet. It's a lengthy process. He is clever. My point is that I made an app here with careful thought. My app has been around, was developed with the same amount of time as Signal, Wickr, and all these apps. So it's been around about the same amount of time, and so because of that, I've put a lot of thought into it and made sure that it does what it does. One of the things that Braxme is different, one of the differences of Braxme to some of the other apps is that's device independent. You can use Brax on multiple devices at the same time. You can use Brax on a browser, on a phone, on an iPad simultaneously. You can log in simultaneously and read the same stuff. And the reason that's very important is not for secrecy. The reason that's important is for business. If you're doing business, you can't have all these secret stuff going on. That's not the way business works. Okay, when you're doing business, which is one of the biggest users of Braxme are business users, and with business users, they don't want little tricks like on Wickr. This is the thing on Wickr. On Wickr, you have to tap the photo to see it. and then you take your finger out and it disappears, and then uh, and it's like weird when you can't conduct business putting your finger to tap on a photo. I mean, you're trying to read a PDF file. You don't have time for that kind of nonsense. So you LORB styles. When you're using a PDF file, you want to be able to read it and uninterrupted. And so on Brax, you can change the computer. Say, okay, I want to read this on a computer because it's kind of big. So you transfer to the computer and you can read it. But if you're remote, you can kind of like look at it a little bit because somebody passed you a PDF. Let's say it's a proposal. And then when you get to your computer, then you go open it up using the same app without having to worry about the encryption. The encryption handles itself. Okay, so when somebody asks me, how encrypted is Brax, that's what this scope is about, to tell you all about that. Which app does the people in the White House use? They shouldn't be using app. They should be using something that the National Zucking Agency built. Right? They should be using whatever the National Zucking Agency built. So. Okay, I know iSocialFit is gonna say Crifo and Signal and all this nonsense. So, iSocialFit needs to watch replay. Why don't you mention Crifo? I just did. Why should I mention Crifo? Their own site. Is there any importance in Crifo that I need to? Braxman is better than that. So. Have you something to hide? I do, and you too, you as well. If you don't think you have something to hide, then you're I hate to. Let me not say it in the most ungraceful way that I can, but let's just say that if you don't have anything to hide, then you must not exist. When somebody has a copy of all of your emails, don't come to me and say you have nothing to hide. Okay? Somebody knows all your emails. All of them. And they're going to tell me, I have nothing to hide. Oh, really? Let me look at let's stick to that. Emails. Let's stick to all your emails. Second, somebody has all of your locations. Every single one. So I said, oh, okay, then let me look at all of those locations and tell you where you've been, who you met, all of your affairs, who was with you. What the zuck? These are concepts that you have to say I have nothing to hide. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Go Rice Girl, hello. Finishing up here. What about, bank? I mean, Facebook. What's up, troublemaker? Yes, go Rice Girl. I just this is kind of a isolated scope about a subset of what I did last night because I last night kind of got crazy. So too many distractions from last night. No one can share the information about encryption from last night's scope. No one cares about your life. Yes, Yago, they do. You know why? They want to fool you, so by giving you false information and fake information, then they get your zucking vote. And then they convince you to say, okay, we're going to do something, and you voted for it, and so therefore you are much more important than you think, in theory. But since they can manipulate you, then you don't have anything to worry about. Because who cares? Say, well, they're manipulating me, so I don't have a choice in the world. And you're saying, that's really cool. I like to get manipulated, so that's fine. Okay? So, because you don't understand what goes on out there, you don't understand. I'm going to be interviewed tonight on CBS, WBZ Radio, and let me just tell you what our potential topic is. I haven't finalized the topic, but if the topic is what I think it's going to be, it's going to be about the truth on the internet. And let me tell you something that you should understand. Do you know that they have the capability now for faking any YouTube video? They can come up with a YouTube video of Trump saying something, and maybe even put a Russian ambassador in the picture and have him have a secret conversation. Do you know they can do that? The technology is called face-to-face and Adobe Vocal, and it's very effective. Very effective. Do you know that they can put you in a picture and put that on YouTube and blackmail you? Did you know they can do that? And you're not going to know. Nobody has the expertise to determine that that's you. And so when somebody says you got nothing to hide, it's like, oh, you will have something to hide, because they can. I'm going to do that because they can make things like that for you and use it to manipulate you. Say, if you zucking think you don't have anything to hide, you're going to give me your zucking Facebook password because I want to use it to hack into your friend. How can we stop that? By letting you know, by listening to me, by protecting your data, by hiding from the zucking internet. This is what I talk about. This is why we talk about encrypted apps. This is why we talk about all this. You need to hide from the zucking internet. Not everything needs to be done on the zucking internet. You need to move away so that certain things are invisible. Certain things have to be invisible, and that is why I'm telling you this, because by knowing what you're up to and what your activities are, they can then say, oh, okay, so we know you're a you're a Democrat, and you go on zucking YouTube. We'll change the videos that you see on zucking YouTube. We're going to change it. They're actually using this for ISIS. They have a program that says, okay, this person is a pro-ISIS person, and they actually changed the internet on YouTube, on Google, Facebook, and various publications like the New York Times. They actually change what you zucking see so that you say, oh, I'm going to go anti-ISIS, which just sounds fine when it's ISIS, but it's not fine when they say we're going to do it against you because you're progressive. We're going to do it against you because you're pro Alex Jones. Then it has a different meaning. We're doing it against you because you're anti the North Dakota pipeline. I wish that's all they use it for, Yagoli. I wish that's all they use it for. Unfortunately, they've overstepped their bounds. They've overstepped their bounds. So the information that they're tracking, is way beyond what's needed for terrorism. It's really for control and influencing you and making it seem like you actually have a vote, making you think you're in a democratic country, and reality is you don't really live in democracy because somebody can manipulate you, and that's what you fear. Yagoli, you and I presume you're young, and most young people don't understand this, and this is what I'm trying to explain, that it is a dangerous world now. Yes, we are in a Big Brother world. It's a very dangerous world. Is Tor anonymous? Yes. Can Tor be hacked? With great difficulty, but can be done. But only by a national zucking agency. It's not something that can be done by ordinary means. New to the internet, yeah. So hacking Tor is possible only with some very very sophisticated technique that's not available to average people, average hackers. My refrigerator is making your scope freeze. You sure it's not your microwave? So anyway, hopefully that darn is not National Zucking Agency. Again, to announce, I'm going to end the scope now, but just to announce again, I am not scoping anymore tonight, and I will be on CBS, on WBZ Radio in Boston, WBZ Radio in Boston at 9 p.m. Pacific time. 9 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so WBZ Boston in 3 hours. Yeah, in 3 hours I will be on the radio. So hopefully you guys can listen. If not, there's a replay podcast that will show up on I'll post it on Twitter. Okay, guys. So thank you, guys and gals. We got to make sure the gals are included in there. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so thank you for coming, and hopefully my Periscope producer worked today. Oh, and dude, don't forget us. Okay, go Rise Girl. I won't forget you. Talk to me on Brax, Go Rice Girl. You know I don't talk to you anyplace else. Talk to me on Brax. Love to talk to you on Brax, Go Rice Girl. You're my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.